transform our entire organization into a community of men and women. We never stop
particular ranking system.
We never stop creating ideas. We don't sleep because we have a lot. We don't sleep.
I welcome each of you here in this summit, and I thank you for celebrating your essence with us today. Amazing day, everyone. My name is Bryce, and I am the founder of Hero Summit, a global event organizing company for educators and industry leaders around the world, founded in 2018 in Singapore. Today, we bring the world to you through Hero Ed TV. I believe that the best opportunity we cannot miss is the opportunity to use our time to serve others. And serving may be done in different ways. We speak the language of service in various unique ways. One that resonates with me is serving through offering solutions to the challenges schools are facing today. It is my deepest belief that everything happens in school. We shape the future of communities and the future of our future through the institution of learning. Thus, what we need to do is to be part of reimagining it now that life has changed dramatically in a speed of light. Hero Ed TV presents Reimagining the Future of Nursing Education through Lecturio Nursing app. This episode, we offer everyone in the room today and those watching at our broadcast channels will surely will have value added in terms of, number one, understanding how the nursing education is evolving and progressing as it adapts to the current situation we have at hand. Number two, how a company such as Lecturio is taking the lead to support these changes, offering solutions through digital resources and new learning dynamics. And finally, why we need to embrace the wisdom behind ubiquitous learning. We have invited credible, inspiring, and sought-after resource guests in the person of Dr. Rhonda Lawes, the Director of Nursing Education at Lecturio, Germany. Also, we shall listen to a message from Mr. Nico Chopra, the President of Redefine Learning India, a company partner of Hero and Lecturio, and his company, for your information, is instrumental in bringing Lecturio to the Philippines. And finally, to moderate our session today, we are honored to have Dr. Luisa Uayan, the esteemed Dean of the College of Nursing, Our Lady of Fatima University. Dear educator leaders, welcome to this insightful session called Reimagining the Future of Nursing Education. To keep the excitement drumming, allow me to invite my partner for Hero, Mr. Nico Chopra, to share his welcome address.
Thank you, Bryce. Thanks for the introduction and starting the webinar. I'm Nico Chopra, founder and president of Redefine Learning, partner of Lecturio in the Philippines and India. We have been working in the technology-enabled learning solutions for education and corporates for the last 4 years that are scalable, make learning and teaching effective and measurable. When pandemic struck all of us last year, I, along with my partner, Dr. Bryce Fabro, thought about how we can bring the change in the Philippines education and reimagine new normal, whereby we have multiple challenges to ensure the continuity of classes, online, offline. Content plays a major role in teaching. Good and ready to use online content is critical both for faculties and students. Our focus was K-12, medical and nursing education, and that is how we started looking out to explore multiple educational products and solutions available in the market. Our key focus while selecting these right partners was brand value, quality content, easily scalable, ensure teaching is measurable, analytics to assess the students through the formative and summative assessments, assisting teachers to deliver online teaching with ease using our alternative teaching platform. And students should enjoy learning a new way. We found a perfect partnership with Lecturio, a leader in medical and nursing education that fits our mission to ensure continuity of medical and nursing education. With a shortage of healthcare workers around the world, we cannot face another major roadblock that our nursing and medical students not able to get the right content and teaching modules for revision after online classes. Today, we are excited about the launch of Lecturio Nursing as we believe to solve the problem of nursing education. Lecturio Smart Tutor platform is designed for nursing schools. It's made by nurses for our future nurses. Lecturio Nursing comprehensive video library, short, concise, and easy to follow videos held by practicing nursing experts, simplifying even the most complex topics for you. Students love to study anywhere, anytime to revise the topics that were delivered by the faculties through online Zoom classes. Also, Lecturio Nursing gives the power to faculties to measure the outcome of lessons delivery through videos, quizzes, and assessments that the students are designed to. I welcome our esteemed group of resource speakers, Ms. Rhonda Lawes from Lecturio and Dean Louis from ALFU to be available for this session and enlighten our nursing deans and faculties with a new way of teaching through Lecturio Nursing. Thank you everyone for taking your time with us today. We look forward to work with you to leverage the power of Lecturio Nursing platform to support your teaching outcomes and ensuring no nursing students are left behind. Thank you everyone.
Thank you so much, Nikhil. Appreciate that. Before we actually listen to our esteemed guest today, I would like to run a poll. I hope you allow me, dear participants. Help me out with these questions. All right. You'd see on the screen. Please, you can use your raise hand and you can chat if you have things to tell us. All right. Okay. First in the list of questions that we have right now, help us out. Number one, how long are your average class in person, Zoom, or face-to-face meeting times for students and faculty each time they meet? Is it like 1 hour, 1 to 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, or 3 hours? These are your choices. Okay. Second question, reflect on the faculty as a whole. Which is the most common delivery method faculty in your campuses use to deliver content method? Please select only one. Is it faculty-led lecture with PowerPoint provided downloadable as notes, or faculty-led lecture with PowerPoint but copies of presentation are not available to students? Or is it textbook readings and faculty-led lecture with PowerPoint, or textbook readings, faculty-led lectures, and multiple multimedia learning experiences such as podcasts, videos, etc. Please just choose one. Thank you. Reflect on your student population, which describes them most accurately. Are they 100% of them consistent having to access Wi-Fi and the internet? 90% of them have consistent access to Wi-Fi and the internet? 80% of them? 70%? 60%? Or 50%? Number 4, which best describes your curriculum framework? Traditional courses based on on subject like maternal child fundamentals, med surg, etc. Concept-based curriculum, examples oxygenation, inflammation, and perfusion, etc. All right. And number 5, how much access do your students to tutoring remediation regarding difficult class concepts? Are these your choices? We have an accessible tutoring center that is staffed with tutors who are skilled in the content we have identified as the most difficult for nursing students. Any additional tutoring is provided by the course faculty as requested by the students and or in faculty office hours. Also, I'm not sure what we're doing for remediation tutoring with students and difficult concepts. All right? Okay, this is the end of polling. Thank you. We'll give you few minutes to finalize your answers, and then we will stop the polling and we'll show this to our guest lecturer today. All right, I think that's about it. All right.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our session on heroes, where we focus on nursing reimaging, which is very timely for our pandemic online learning. So for today, let me introduce our guest speaker. Dr. Rhonda Lawes is the Director of Nursing Education Programs for Lecturio. In her role, Lawes acts as the link between educators, students, and product developers, guiding future content development and delivery. Professor Lawes started her nursing career in the critical care unit of St. Francis Health System and held the position as nurse leader in that system for 15 years. She transitioned to higher education in 2005 and earned a rank of assistant professor at the University of Oklahoma College of Nursing, where she received numerous teaching awards and was a course coordinator for multiple campuses. She holds a PhD in educational psychology from Oklahoma State University. And one of her goals is to help nursing students increase their level of understanding of the toughest concepts in pharmacology and medical surgical nursing. In April 10, 2015, she was invited to talk about the importance of growth mindset on TEDx OStateU event in Oklahoma State University campus. She is skilled in medical devices, psychiatry, healthcare management, healthcare, and nursing. She's teaching students how to use the science of cognitive learning to maximize study effectiveness. Ladies and gentlemen, help me in welcoming our guest speaker for today, Dr. Rhonda Lawes.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here. What an incredible chance to get to just have a conversation with those of you in education. Now, let me say to all of you who are deans and directors, thank you. Thank you for what you do, because I love the teaching part, and I know that your job is very, very difficult. So thank you for keeping things running so that those of us that are in the classroom every day have the privilege of doing that. And I know you do not hear that often enough, as you mostly see a lot of the problems and the challenges. Well, the pandemic has definitely changed how we teach. My introduction to the pandemic is that I was on a plane to Germany. I was going to do some more reporting. And President Trump made the announcement that they were closing Europe. So the second I landed in Frankfurt, my phone blew up. My family, my friends were all saying, come home, come home, come home. So I turned right around. I flew from Tulsa, Oklahoma to Frankfurt, Germany, got off the plane, got my ticket, and flew right back to Tulsa, and then hit the ground running as all of you did, trying to switch to online learning, which none of us were prepared for over here. I don't know how you felt like it, but we felt just thrust right into the middle. Now, I've got some slides, and they're going to run those for us. So we have those slides that'll be available for you just to kind of give you some talking points. But here's what I really want to encourage you to do. If you have a question, if you have an insight, please be sure to feel free to ask that question, because this is really meant to be a conversation. I know two groups of people that are near and dear to your hearts, are nursing faculty and students. And as I said, I've taught for a very long time, and I still teach in the classroom today, because it's really important to me that if I'm helping to shape the future of nursing education, I'm still in the classroom. Thankfully, there's people like you guys that are keeping these nursing schools running, and you have the vision to think about what's next. How can we reshape it? So I want to talk to you about what this company that we know as Lecturio is. When they first contacted me, I had a hard time processing what is this and what is the vision. And the first conversation I had with their leadership team, I told my sister, I don't care if these people pay me or not. I'm just so excited to work with people that are excited about education. And my sister said, don't you dare tell them that. So I took her advice. But it is like being in Disney World for an educator. We have graphic artists, we have videographers, cutters, editors. Everyone comes together. You know, faculty in your classroom are trying to go to clinicals, teach classes, hold office hours. You know how pulled your faculty are. And we have a nursing shortage, but we have an even bigger faculty shortage across our globe. So anything we can do to help those important group of people be supported and spread their wisdom, that's something I'm all in on. And that's what Lecturio can do. I am fully supportive of people in the classroom. Lecturio does not replace a skilled educator. Lecturio comes alongside that educator and says, let me help you. Let me be your graduate teaching assistant so we can help you keep moving forward so you can do your very best for the students that you know in person. The second piece is we want to teach your students how to accept responsibility for their learning, right? We want them to be self-regulated learners. That's really what we're doing. So we know some things about the theory of education, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about theory because I know you are all highly educated in the art and science of teaching. So I want to kind of give you some background to say these are the things we think about when we put together presentations and teaching experiences for the students. So let's look at our agenda real quick. We've got 4 things that we're going to accomplish today, and I loved the feedback you guys gave us on the poll. So we're going to first look at what the evidence-based learning system is with Lecturio. We're going to look at how we deal with conflict, how we can help students become better, and then we've got a session for Q&A afterwards, which I'm really excited about. So let's say, welcome to Lecturio. Although Nico did such a good job, I don't feel like there's much else I need to tell you, but I'm going to tell you a few things anyway. So if you go to the slide that talks about the parts of to our next slide, kind of give them a framework. There we go. We'll go one more. Okay. So the 2 things I'd love for you to walk away with is know that we provide faculty support with expert training in educational theory. We're not a video platform and that's it. We will come alongside and provide you with training for your faculty. Let us know what kind of special concepts you would want to know. We are experts in concept-based curriculum. We are very familiar with wiring curriculums for exemplars and concepts from beginning to end. So we're really open to, we've designed a product that we can help link directly to your specific curriculum. We wouldn't want your faculty to have to stumble through everything. They don't have time for that. I want your faculty's energy to be for your students. All we need from you is your theories, your philosophies, what you want to accomplish in each class, an outline of your curriculum, and then our team of experts will go together and make the courses for you. It's interactive with all different kinds of platforms. So, and I'm teaching with it right now. I have a critical care course right now, a research course. So I have those different courses, critical care and research, and I am using content in both of those classes with Lecturio. So we're using research-based strategies to put those things together. Spaced repetition, what we know about attribution theory, expectancy value, mindset, all those things, we're constantly keeping them at the forefront of our minds. So we have thoughtfully and mindfully put together, and like he said, very short videos. It would be our dream that students would start at the beginning and go through, but we know that's not always reality with students. Sometimes they need to be able to get right in there and find what they need. What about, I noticed on your poll, thank you for sharing, that most of the tutoring is done by the faculty who teaches the course. That is that's a heavy workload. I taught pharmacology at the University of Oklahoma for 15 years, and my office hours, not because I'm so amazing, but my office hours because it was a difficult concept and I wanted to be available to students, were always overfilled. So what Lecturio can do for your faculty is we provide remediation. We provide support in teaching, where we have mapped your curriculum for you and you have a student that's struggling in a certain concept, we can show you their engagement with that concept. You can assign them extra videos or things to look at. After each video, very short version, they'll see a short recall recognition type of question. So we help them learn how to study and how to take notes. There's a whole series on, if you want to be successful in nursing school, let us teach you how your brain works, how you remember information, how you process information, and I have a new series coming out for students with ADD. So we've got the faculty support. We want to be your GTA, your graduate teaching assistant that's available 24 hours a day on their cell phone, on their mobile phone. I noticed you have Wi-Fi coverage some have great coverage, some may not have the kind of access. The cool thing about Lecturio is that it is on a mobile platform. So it's very easy for students to access that anywhere in public transportation, as they're on the move, when they have the mood strikes them for studying, they can do that. So we want to support your faculty and help them become more accomplished teachers, because people that go into teaching want to make a difference, and we want to help equip your faculty to feel great about their professional practice. Now, we talked about the hundreds of professionally edited videos. It's a very particular process that you go through. It's a little overwhelming. In fact, I'll be in the studio first thing tomorrow morning because we're filming a few more skills tomorrow morning. So using these videos, you can use them as initial assignments, you can use them as background, you can use them as remediation, but that tutoring is always available to your students. Okay. So we talked kind of about that. Let me show you a couple of clips. So if we'll go to the next slide. There you go. So this kind of summarizes what we have. On the left, we've got a comprehensive video library. They're short, they're concise, and they're easy to follow. These are not presentations that are just created by one faculty somewhere off in the distance and then they come and film it. This is initiated by a subject matter expert, which is the nurse. Then it's reviewed by QA nurses to make sure it's quality and correct. Then it goes through a team of medical producers, medical graphic designers, and then it goes into the studio with a whole nother team of people that review it. Once it's down on film, it goes to another team and goes back through the whole process again to make sure that what we present is well thought out and not just spewing information at your students. We are mindful about, hey, what do
Nasaan na
students
sila?
need to know? Let's not just fill them with a bunch of facts. Let's see what they need to know, and are we teaching them in a way that it will stick with them? So we've got short videos, we got like over 160 hours, and I promise you, we will continue to keep adding and adding and adding. Our average video is about 7 minutes long. Next one, I talked about those smart recall quizzes. This is so helpful. I don't know that you or what your faculty has shared with you, but a lot of times students, if they access their textbook, they think highlighting it is studying. I've had students walk into my office and I'm like, whoa, I almost have to put sunglasses on because their entire page is colored instead of highlighted. So our students that I've dealt with in programs have trouble knowing how to study. And you know, the research strongly supports that just reading is one of the lowest forms for encoding and retention. What is the highest, most productive form for recalling is questions. So we can teach them how to ask questions of themselves, how to tie everything back to the universal concept of safety, patient safety, or we can really look at this content you just learned. We have questions right now in the moment for you to answer. Now it tracks their score, so you can just give them a goal that you want them to stay above a certain score, and they keep taking those questions. They also get to say when they take the question, how confident did you feel on that? So we're teaching them to self-regulate, to be aware, because literature is full of resources that tell us and support the students that are struggling the most, the students that are the weakest, are the least accurate self-assessors. So we need to teach them how to self-assess better, because what we want are lifelong learners. So we're looking for personalized learning. That's what we want in those. Now the mobile app, I already talked to you about that, but they can study offline, learn on the go. But the coolest thing, when they told me about this, I thought my head was going to explode. There's a book matcher feature. And what I love about this is if they're studying, they're looking at a textbook. If you have a textbook you would like us to book match, then we'll take that text and we'll take your specific text, and any page in that textbook, your student just enters it into book match and it will recommend the videos they need to watch. If we don't have that text in and it's a different one that your student is looking at, all they have to do is take a picture with their phone and it will automatically, our search engine will find the best videos for them. I think that is an incredible feature. Our students love it over here when we've used it. Particularly, we used it in pharmacology. We've used it with some pretty intense medical, surgical texts. We're laying in maternal health, maternal child. So, and you can request a book that you would like us to match. Okay, let's go on to our next slide. So this is what it will look like when you check into Lecturio Nursing. Now, if you would like to have your own account, we can easily arrange that for you. Our contact information is at the end. You just let us know. What you see on the left, there's your menu. This is nursing. Some of the Lecturio stuff for the medicine is green. We've gone with blue for nursing. But you see there you have the video library and the beginning listing of the hundreds of videos that we have. On the right, you see the spaced repetition score. So we took someone at 0%, meaning they haven't taken any questions. But I use this spaced repetition and this information when I sit down to counsel and work with students. So that is a way to really support your faculty, because the majority of times students come into my office and they swear they have been studying for more hours than there are in a day, right? They are convinced. Now, sometimes students think that just if they're close to their notes or their textbook, that counts as studying, or worrying about a test counts as studying. But this gives us some actual quantitative data. How long have you spent in reviewing the material? How many questions have you answered? What scores are you maintaining? Because if we can get them to get those recall, recognition, foundational concepts solid, then we can move on to application. And that's really what our goal is. But instead of your faculty having to hear the same story over and over again, this gives them the power to duplicate themselves, to replicate themselves, because they give them a very specific assignment, ask them to follow up on that before they come to talk to them. Then they can sit and look through their results. Now they have a focus of where they can interact and counsel your students. Okay, now let's talk about some educational theory. So let's go on to the next slide. There you go. This is the coolest part because my passion is to help empower students to take responsibility for their learning, not from an autocratic manner, but I want them to enjoy learning because I don't want nurses that stop learning once they graduate from school, and neither do you, or you wouldn't be part of this organization. So let's keep rolling through those slides. We're going to keep an eye on it, keep on your time limit here. These are two very important theorists, and I just wanted to introduce these to you, Dr. Wiener and Dr. Dweck. And these are two of the theorists that we base our learning on. So you can go to the next slide. This one, the implicit theory of intelligence, and I touched on this when I made a major lifestyle change for me, thinking about implicit theory of intelligence is implied. But any interaction with students, you have seen these types of behaviors, but it's what they believe about themselves, and they may not even be aware of it because everyone has different beliefs about themselves and different things. So I can be really on top of things in one area and not very confident in the other area. But Dr. Dweck's work is something that we have based our resources on, and we want to help your students become the type of students who understand that how you think about yourself really affects your performance. Because people differ in their beliefs about the malleability of our key attributes, about our intelligence or our personality. And Dr. Dweck's theory is if we can help get in there and change their mindset, then we really have the ability to help them succeed in nursing and in life. So let me introduce you to my fantasy self, all right? This is who I want to be. Now, this is one of Dr. Dweck's quotes, and her quote is, in a growth mindset. In fact, if we could put that up on the screen for them, this is a really good quote. This is who all of us want to be or strive to be. Oh, we might be having a problem with slides. So, not a problem. There we go. Just a couple more slides. Right there, thank you. Right, so in a growth mindset, challenges are exciting rather than threatening. So rather than thinking, oh, I'm going to reveal my weakness, you say, wow, here's a chance to grow. Okay, so let's go to the next slide, and I want to talk about fixed versus growth mindset. Now think about your students, and think about what the last faculty who was in your office talking about students was mentioning. Someone in a fixed mindset, they believe that, hey, it's locked down or fixed. Their abilities, their personality, they really can't change them. So they'll avoid failure. They just want to look smart, and so they don't want to take any risk. They won't take any challenges. They just stick to things that are routine and what they know. They can't receive feedback. They get explosive, or they get retreat, or they isolate themselves, and they just don't grow or change like they could. That's a fixed mindset. Somebody in a growth mindset, these are the students, if they come to us with a growth mindset, they're so fun. Sometimes you think there's some students that are so motivated and so excited and have such a mindset that they want to learn that they would almost learn without us, right? They're just little sponges that soak everything up. But in growth mindset, I believe, hey, my potential is unknown and unknowable. So I want to keep learning. I'm okay with not knowing exactly. I'll embrace a challenge. I'm not afraid to fail because I'm going to put a lot of effort into my learning because I know the process is what I'm really after. Now let's look at the next slide and compare fixed versus growth mindset. So look at the differences in the behaviors. This is how we want to help your students become more responsible for their learning because we want to influence them to know, man, a growth mindset is doable. It's possible. The research is very clear that we can help influence a student with some very specific interventions to help them develop a growth mindset in nursing school and in education. So let's go to the next slide and talk just a little bit about how faculty plays a role in that, because how we interact and encourage students, the things we say to them, how we evaluate them, we don't want to reinforce with them. Sometimes they get locked into a grade. But we want to make sure they know that you can learn this. It might take some effort, and you just haven't got it yet. But helping them develop a growth mindset will help them value what they're doing regardless of what that exact numeric grade is. We just want them to be excited and engaged in the learning. Now, this next part I'd like to go kind of quickly through. I've got an article here. If you'd like a copy of it, I would send it to you. So on this next slide, I've listed what you have there. Yeah, it's by Dr. Dweck. Look at this. You're using the resources and we're helping your students nudge them toward a growth mindset. Look what happens to their engagement in their learning and their level of responsibility. So look at the next slide. It talks about people in a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Who is the proportion that takes responsibility for themselves? No surprise, it's the growth mindset. Now look at the next slide. If you have ever sat down, this also works with faculty too, doesn't it? But when you sit down with a student, who is likely to make excuses or justifications? Fixed mindset is more likely to do that. Who will admit responsibility? Not the students in the fixed mindset. So if we use research-based strategies to help address that and help influence them toward a growth mindset, look at the impact on their engagement in your learning, their self-regulation. They're going to be more willing to take responsibility and be engaged. Now the next slide looks at, this really is based in science, that mindset matters. And if you look at that, you'll see that motivation to learn, wanting to learn, is really tied. Look at that number there for the regression. 0.69, that's huge, with a p-value of 0.001. So motivation to learn is a key player in acceptance of responsibility, and this study has proven that people with implicit theories of personality and a fixed mindset versus growth mindset are much more likely to accept that responsibility. All right, so we've talked about what we have with the fixed mindset, the growth mindset. That's the theory of implicit of knowledge. And so we understand at Lecturio that your students have these thoughts, whether they recognize it or not. But let's move on to another theory. So if you advance the slide, we're going to the next one. Sometimes your students feel like, what in the world? They develop this attitude about like nursing school is impossible. Now, that is a fixed mindset. That's when we're thinking and we're creating and we're wanting to do things. We'll teach your students about automatic negative thoughts. Now, in the next picture, I have 3 little ants going across the screen, and they're each carrying a letter, because we want to teach your students about the automatic negative thoughts that pop into their mind. So if you have students with test anxiety, if you have students that are frustrated, that feel like they're in a fixed mindset, when you look at the next slide, I've listed 5 areas that we deal with in cognitive brain therapy, that these are the automatic negative thoughts that pop into your student's mind and really make their progress come to a halt. So we'll show them how to unpack that. We'll show them how to recognize it, acknowledge it, call it out, and to how to reframe that thinking. See, that's just as important to us as all the content we can help them learn, because we know we've devised content in a way that will be easier for them to learn. So we don't need to go over those here because I know you're all very aware of what automatic negative thoughts. But let's do one more. How often do your faculty hear this? This next question that we'll see after this slide, I can always get it down to 2 answers and then I always pick the wrong one. Right? That's what we hear from students all the time. You know, sometimes the sad truth is they get it down to 2 wrong answers and they struggle between those 2. But our goal is to help them learn to prioritize. That's what successful test taking is recognizing the true priorities. I also mentioned in the beginning that we have classes for your faculty if they're interested in item writing, if they want to understand item analysis. Math can be kind of intimidating when you come along with that. Now, if you're one of those people that is gifted in item analysis, and you can do it in your sleep, you're amazing. Most of us have had to work really hard to grasp those concepts, but we worked hard at that so we can help your faculty understand how that works, how it can help them improve the accuracy, the validity, and the reliability of their testing. So While this one isn't always true, we will help your faculty know how to respond to this in a way that's meaningful and helpful. Now, the next theory we're going to look at briefly is attribution theory. And I won't spend a lot of time here, but this is really what we teach students. We talked about that 2 answers are always right. It all boils down to safety first. And I have a series in our videos that will help your students understand how to take a question, how to rip it apart and dissect it. We just did a webinar on this. And if you'd like your students to watch it, or for me to do that webinar for your students, I would be more than happy to do that, because I love helping students feel like they're starting to make progress in testing. It is so frustrating to feel like your grade does not reflect your effort. But that second theory we talked about was attribution theory. Now that's Dr. Wiener's, that is his theory that he's put together. And this helped me so much as a young faculty. So if you want to go through, if we can go to the next slide, where they can see just a picture of Dr. Wiener to see what he looks like. But he focused it on achievement. What will help your students stay in there? My passionate research is on academic resilience. What will help your students keep working hard when they feel like quitting or when they get discouraged? Well, Dr. Wiener talks about attribution theory, and you can go on to the next slide. This is a pretty interesting theory, and if you want some more things about it, but pretty much how this goes is we assign the types of, when we're trying to understand behaviors of other people, we think we understand what caused them to be motivated to do that. So it explains the causes of our behavior, both internal and external. So you've likely come across this theory before, but as a new faculty, it is very easy to become discouraged because you come under fire. Because students want to say that their performance wasn't their fault, it must be something else. In fact, let's go on to the next slide. I knew this intellectually, but there's a self-serving bias in attribution therapy. So this is how students maintain their self-esteem, and sometimes how all of us, even as mature people, maintain self-esteem, because if things are going well, we take credit for it. If things are not going well, that's not our problem. So, for example, students, why did I pass the test? Well, I studied really hard. I'm smart. I earned the A myself. Why did I fail the test? Faculty doesn't teach it well. The test was too hard. It wasn't my fault. See, we're aware of this, and we want to help your faculty also when they get bombarded by these things. We want them to know that, hey, this is natural, and this is normal, and this is also part of that fixed mindset. So we want to help to reframe that for them, and that's what our services do. So we'll keep moving, and we'll help your faculty understand how students can see how their efforts are paying off. We will give them precise measurements as they go on. The tests and material are at the right level of difficulty based on your curriculum and how we've programmed it. So we'll make sure that the evaluations they get are reliable, they're clear, they're communicated, and they are consistent. Now we have both recall and recognition questions and higher level, more like end of course exam questions. All right, next slide. We'll show you that we have a system of support. Attribution therapy says students need a system for support and help when they need it. If they don't get that type of support, they're much more likely to fall into despair. I'm not going to understand this. I'm not smart enough. It doesn't matter what I do. I can't get there. No, they have a system in Lecturio that will help them be successful. And that's why we work so hard to create what we do. So let's go on to the next part of attribution theory in practice, helping both students and faculty understand that growth is a marathon and not a sprint. And just like we teach them to look at trends of vital signs, we want them to look over a period of time in their progress and their growth academically. Okay, we'll keep moving. I want to be sensitive to your time. This last one is expectancy value theory. And let me just kind of summarize this. That expectancy value theory, and it was Jacqueline Eccles who really applied this to education. This means if I want to encourage a student to be motivated to learn, I want them to feel like they can do it, and I want them to understand the value to them learning it. And that's how we've set up all our education. Each one of our presenters, our experts, our faculty experts, understand this concept. As we go through our development of educational resources, this is what we think. First of all, we need to teach it in a way that even if we have spent hours explaining multiply complex concepts, it's no good unless we've done it in a way that helps the students know, no, you can do this. You might have to put some effort into it, but you can understand the most complex concepts in maternal child, med-surg, DKA, ARDS, septic shock, whatever it, pharmacology, which is usually a real fan favorite. That's what I spend a lot of my time on. But we recognize our strategies are research-based, and this is one of them. Now, you can keep going through expectancy value theory. We present that to your students. What we will help your faculties will help them gain confidence in their teaching abilities. It is a rough crowd to face nursing students, right? It's really, really tough. So we want to help them understand and become better coaches in dealing with student behavior patterns. We want to help them recognize, man, one of the keys to teaching is application. Anyone can teach content. Expert faculty need to know how to teach the students how to connect the dots and apply it. Now, that will help them be successful on any type of licensing exam or standard exam. But what we really want is when that's my family member in that bed, your family member in that bed, us in that bed, we want somebody who knows how to apply all of the knowledge in their head, why they understand why they need to know this, and how it would keep a patient safe. And we'll help your faculty with developing course exams and knowing how to test on things. I sat down with a grad student today and went through the process of how you start from an objective and how you plot that out and map that out, how to make an exam that truly reflects the things that are most important to know. And that's the kind of support we'd love to provide to your faculty, because man, if you can get us together with educators, I'm in. My heart beats for faculty. So we can keep rolling through the slides. I know I've gone a little long. I'm supposed to tell you that we're going to be at the NSNA virtual booth. Everything is virtual, although I'm so happy. How could I get to talk to colleagues all over the globe if it weren't for virtual? So this is a National Student Nurse Association, but I know we've had international people come and visit to the United States. So it's amazing to me how far people will travel. Not this year, obviously, but we'll be in the virtual things on there. And then we have our contact numbers on the next slide. We've got those for you. So if you have any questions, we would love to talk to you. We'd love to provide you with an account. And these are the emails. All right. Well, that wraps up my conversation. I just want to say we are here for faculty, for students, to help both of them feel better and feel more effective in their nursing school experience.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rhonda. That was wow. It was really wow. It was a mouthful, or it was a very comprehensive presentation of what we really need now in our online and virtual learning. But now is the most exciting part of this online session, because we invite people who are with us virtually to ask questions, to interact, and then we can exchange ideas, and then we can improve more on what we're supposed to offer our students. My heart also is for our faculty, because they are in the blood which oxygenate the entire system. Yeah, so we give a big hand of applause to all the faculty here. Thank you very much. And when you were talking about all those attribution theory and all those growth mindset, the faculty has a very strong and very important role in engaging our students to change mindset and to engage into this new reimaging our learning online. But while we're waiting, Dr. Rhonda, you don't mind, while we're waiting for some questions, I have identified 4 areas which we can start the discussion, and then probably when the question pop out, I invite everybody online, hello, those who are virtually with us, to please ask questions. Use our Q&A box. We will, any language, we can translate for you.
That's right.
Nico is here, Bryce is here, I'm here, I can speak Nihongo, I can speak some little language and Rhonda is here, so any dialect, even in Ilocano, it's okay. No, guys? Okay. So the first question, Prof, I really like the part when you said that this platform will reshape nursing education, but it will not replace the faculty. You know, there's a big fear, no? That once we adopt this particular program, we might lose our job. So probably you can expound on this, that faculty can really, they cannot be replaced, no? What do you think of that, Dr. Rhonda?
Absolutely, unequivocally, and that's why teaching is so important to me. When I came, I started working full-time. I was a speaker initially for Lecturio, and when I came to work with them, I said teaching is so important. I will not accept a full-time position unless you allow time for me to be in the classroom. So I understand that fear, though. I've been at universities that had some major changes, and that's what people felt like. And people feel that the flipped classroom is trying to replace faculty. Well, first of all, we don't want to completely flip. I've heard Donna Ignatius, her last name is very difficult to say. She used a term, and I love it, and she called it scrambled instead of flipped. And that was like, yes, use the materials as support, but nothing replaces a human, living, breathing faculty who has a relationship, because learning is relationship. So, and yes, no, I could not underscore that enough. It would never replace a faculty, but it would support them, because we're tired and we can't have as many office hours as a student wants. It just doesn't work.
Thank you very much. So our dear faculty, you are our relationship aspect in this learning platform. When we reimagine Lecturio as part of our classroom, you are expected to be there. Now, another area that we'd like to probably be clarified while we're waiting is when we discuss about curriculum. Because we are coming from the East Asia and North America, and then you're in Europe, so probably in terms of curriculum, Dr. Rhonda, is there a way to customize and then to provide culturally congruent curriculum? And of course, the cost, probably there be, without mentioning the price, just the cost, probably in relation to quality.
Okay, fair. That's fair. Now, I promise you I am not dodging the price question. I'm just don't know for sure those works. They don't let me into those details. They just keep me working, filming, and doing content. But that would be more of a TMO question, so I promise if I knew I would tell you. I'm just not that current on that. However, the other part of the question, so I wanted to answer that first because I'm thinking like it's hard to know. The other part, what did you want me to address? The
curriculum and the culture congruency.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Here's my philosophy on that. I would not come to you and tell you what is culturally significant in your country and with your students. I wouldn't do that, and I live in the US, and I wouldn't go to the school next door and tell them what works in their school culture, let alone a country that is different than that I am familiar with. So we would work alongside you, and we would ask you, what type of content would you want? And we would seek out speakers who understand your culture. Not having a talking head give that. We just did the funnest thing on ventilators. You know, getting people to understand, students to understand ventilators. And we didn't make it for nursing students, but it was so good. I'm like, oh, I'm teaching this to nursing students. But we gave a breakdown of how to use ventilators, right from how do you plug it in, what's the green wire, what's the yellow line, what's this. So very practical stuff. And we did it for a country in Africa, and we had someone teach it that was from the country that needed the resource. So as far as when it comes to culture, we would never dream of doing things. We would work to find a solution for you that is acceptable and exciting, and that would actually speak to their students. And I would love to learn more about all the cultures. That is so fun. But as far as having credibility, you would need to have a lot of input on that. Now, does that answer that one? But curriculum, I'll come to. But do you have any more questions about the cultural ability?
No, it's very clear. So the Lecturio gives us a compact form of knowledge and information, but it has an elbow room for us to apply and integrate culture in caring, because you know people in the Philippines, we have different ways of caring is integrated in culture. So thank you very much for that information. How about in terms of curriculum, Dr. Rhonda?
Let's talk curriculum, right? Yes. Now, so that was one of the polling questions I wanted to know. Is it more concept-based? Which I noticed that you were a little a bigger majority of concept-based the last time I looked than a traditional structure. We are comfortable in both. So we have set up curriculums in both. I am currently teaching in a concept-based curriculum, so I'm very familiar with picking your exemplars and your statements and moving them through from their first semester to their graduation. So I'm very comfortable individually with that. Our team also has experience in concept-based curriculum. So yes, from the inception of the program, we had in mind not everybody's going to have the same curriculum. So, and it will take a team. Being a faculty who would be up very late into the night trying to get my online course ready to go and all that type of stuff, we don't want that experience for your faculty. We want you to tell us, hey, what do you want to accomplish in this course? Here's what we recommend, and we will set that up for you, and it will work with the system that you have. So if whatever platform you have, we're compatible, but we want to do that work for the faculty. Anything we can do to not control them, but nobody likes doing the tedious stuff of setting up, this week is this video, this week is that. Nobody likes, that's not the fun part of teaching, but we have teams of people that can do that. So you would let us know what your goals were, what your curriculum is, and we work our product into your curriculum. It's not the other way around. You don't have to try and squish your curriculum into our product.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rhonda. Now we have a participant coming from, can we hear your question, Dr. Doriente? Please introduce yourself and your institution, and address your question to Dr. Rhonda. You can unmute yourself, please. Dr. Doriente. Hello, Dr. Doriente. The floor is yours.
Did you promote? Have we promoted?
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah. Ask to unmute.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Dr. Doriente, you can unmute yourself. Okay.
Did you allow?
Okay. How about Bryce? Bryce, do you have any concern, any question, clarification? Are we still on time?
Very much so. No worries, no worries. We're having fun.
Yeah. Because while we're waiting for Dr. Doriente, probably we can focus. We talk about curriculum. Are you there, Doctor? She raised her hand.
All right.
Okay.
I think he's coming in.
She's coming. Okay.
Yeah.
We're very interested on other questions. You know, this is not a dialogue. We want everybody to participate. Okay. So.
Well, I appreciate that someone liked the point about connecting the dots, because that is what faculty do. No matter how well a video is presented or questions that we ask, they still need that human touch and that faculty expert that they know and they trust to help them really connect those dots, because that is who we want, is people at the bedside that know how to apply the information. And in my experience, nursing students struggle with nursing student exams because the courses that they took before nursing school didn't ask application or analysis level questions. So they don't know how to study for that. So that's why helping them learn application is really important.
I think there is one question while we're waiting for Dr. Doriente. There is one from Dr. Monarca. He says, good morning, Dr. Rhonda. How can we ensure the quality of nursing education online, especially in relation to our RLE? RLE is our clinical exposure. I think this is the most common concern right now. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Monarca.
Thank you. I love that you asked that question, because that is a very big concern. Online learning does not replace patient interaction, but I would like to throw something out there just for you to think about. When I'm in a lab and I'm trying to teach a group of students how to start an IV, no matter how I demonstrate that, not everybody can see, not everybody knows what they need to do. some of the things we've done for those skills to get your students ready to go into clinicals that can be used to support your faculty are pretty cool. We have a 3-camera shoot, and I'd be happy to send you any of these clips. But we had a former student of mine. He was a really nice guy. So we told him, drink up, my friend, because we want your veins. You always want a young, healthy person. And you'll see, if you've ever watched like a sport event and they show you where the line is on the field or in the lane, they'll put a flag in the Olympics. Well, we have that same technology where you see Peter's arm, bless Peter's heart, and they've laid an overlay of all his veins. We have an overhead shot and we have 2 other cameras. So it's a 3-camera shoot of exactly what to do and how to start an IV. On all our skills, first there's a lecture like, guys, here's the background, here are the steps. Then you'll see us in a clinical setting doing that skill with the patient and explaining it again. So I really do think in this case, on those skills, now, do they need to be in your lab and practice it? Yes. If we're in COVID, do we have a backup plan? We do. There's some pretty cool models that we can, that are for a relatively low price. We can kind of mimic those, but the best solution would be learn the skills on our videos. Then when they come to your labs, they have something to work with the faculty. Everyone comes with a downloadable material. So every presentation in our skills will do that. But you will never convince me that anything replaces the awkwardness that a student feels the first time they go into a patient and learning to talk to people and to listen to people. We can simulate some of that, but nothing replaces actual experience. So I would say you need them both. But in all my years of teaching in clinical labs, I really like what we're doing in those skills and all the technology that we can use, and everything is labeled. So you'll see floating labels so students can see up close what that IV looks like, or up close what that ostomy bag looks like. So that would be my response to that, is like, we've done a really, I guess it almost sounds like I'm bragging, but I'm really excited about what we did for the skills, because some of those skills videos out there are horrible. They're not that fun to watch, they're not that engaging, but we even had some models. Do you guys know what MUTAs are? They're male urinary teaching assistants, or female. Yes, there you go, Bryce. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, we had professional models that they even will go through an assessment course where we had a physician from Yale. And so we have a hybrid course where he's teaching assessment, and then we show nursing assessment alongside that, what you do on a shift. But we have all the assessment pieces right down to a pelvic exam on a female and a prostate exam on a male. And he did such a natural, beautiful job with it that I think we can really offer some great things there. But you would never convince me that it replaces the hands-on experience, but we can sure enhance it and make it better and clear-cut. And your students can watch it over and over again. They have the combination of the visual, well, the visual inside, they have the visual notes. All our videos are closed captioned, like is so common now. I think we're in 27 different languages, which it's so amazing to me, the multiple languages that you guys speak. I am embarrassed that I speak one, very little Spanish, and you would not want to rely on me in a situation to do that. But we do have it translatable into 27 different languages, and they can download the materials right from it. And there's also closed captioning that goes. So that may have been a longer answer than you want. However, I just want to emphasize it doesn't replace, it enhances. But I promise you it will really make a difference in the ability, in your faculty's ability to really teach them that skill. And when it comes to remediation of skills, it's amazing. It's really helpful to your faculty.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rhonda. I think that was able to answer the question of Dr. Monarca. Okay. Are there other questions from the floor? Yes. I asked Dr. Toriente if she can type the question.
Okay.
Okay. But there's no input yet. Okay. So probably we can focus on another issue, because we talked about the faculty, that they cannot be replaced. The curriculum is being reshaped, and it can be customized, and it's very open to your recommendation. It is culture-based, that we are not afraid to integrate caring in the wherever it is going to be applied. And then the clinical was very clear in terms of how it can enhance, how Lecturio can enhance clinical practice or exposure, even in spite of this COVID period. Probably now we go to our favorite part of our teaching process, our students, no? Our they add life to us. Every time we go inside the classroom, we become younger, no? So this seems to be at a different time zone when we're with them. So probably, Dr. Rhonda, you mentioned about how smart the system is, this Lecturio is, and the speed that is integrated because it's mobile. They can have it, some of our students are also working students, no? So probably because of its mobility. And then it is study focused because you mentioned about the bookmarker, the book matcher. So probably you can again enhance this particular area in terms of how Lecturio will make a smarter student, the time spent, which is more quality and cost effectiveness, and then the focus in terms of study, in terms of other. Thank you. Dr. Rhonda, please.
So, did you want me to respond to that?
Probably in terms of the student enhancement part of the thing. Can you add to that?
Yes. And one extra bonus piece, when you are bringing on new faculty and they're just learning how to teach, that's really intimidating. And so I've worked with some of the younger faculty that are using, like, teaching pharmacology for the first time, and they're actually using our farm course for them to prepare to teach. So you're also welcome to use those for faculty that are adjusting to a new course. You know, that always happens. Somebody leaves on a medical leave unexpectedly and you get a new course added to you. But with students and how that enhances them, again, if your curriculum features textbooks, and that is traditionally an effective method for you, Lecturio will not replace that, it will enhance that. And the accessibility is significant. We have a lot of students that are working also, and that is really difficult. They don't have often large chunks of time. So they have time here, time there, and it's got to be able to go with them, and they can't really drag 40 pounds of nursing textbooks with them on the go. So being mobile, accessible, and they prefer to do things on their phone anyway, at least a lot of the students that I have. Don't you wish we had stock in Google? Or maybe you do, but that became a verb. So students are already looking for videos, but they're not curated. They're already, they always want to find a video on something, and there's a lot of people out there that they're not necessarily reliable or accurate, and the students don't necessarily know how to curate that and how to pick something that is reliable, professional, and valid. They'll just go for a fun one or something that catches their eye or comes in their playlist, where we have a very high standard that it goes through multiple people to say that it's right. And if we miss something, we hate it when that happens, but if it is, we have a team that is their only job. So if something is updated, if a change happens in medicine all the time, and then our team is on that. We have a team that's what they are dedicated to, is that they'll make that change. They'll make that update and they'll make that change.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rhonda. I really appreciate that because I think there are a lot of information in the internet, but we are looking for, and we always tell our students to look for credible resources. And Lecturio has curated resources appropriate for student learning on a different tier level. Okay. Another area that I really appreciate that you mentioned is about the faculty resource, because all information, all that are in the Lecturio platform are evidence-based. So there's a very credible resource for us. And then the format, you can easily go from one slide to the other. It's very easy for us also to navigate. And the facility is accessible also for faculty and students. But my concern is about infrastructure, because some of our schools already have learning management system. Can Lecturio be integrated in or interface? Can it be interfaced in our existing learning management system? Dr. Rhonda?
Yes, and that I think is the best part because, or one of the best parts, because to relieve your faculty from the tediousness of actually setting up a course can be very, very time consuming. And what's really fun is when your IT person accidentally deletes your class a day before. That happened to me last semester, and I was like, I need to not talk to you right now. I need to just, I'll be okay, but I need a moment to collect myself because I'm going to have to start part over again. So we build that course for you. You tell us what you want, and what we build will interface with your current learning management system. So common ones that I've worked with here are Blackboard, D2L, but they are our IT guys are very well versed in multiple Moodles and all kinds of things. So if I did not say a learning board that you're Brightspace or Canvas, if that's not one you're using, I guarantee you our IT guys will know what you're talking about, or they will learn it, because that is our goal, that it is not difficult for you. We want to make your transition as pleasant as possible. We want you to be like, wow, that was easy. I just had to turn my stuff over and I got the course that I know is best for my students. So yes, the answer to that, it will integrate with any LMS, and we will do the tedious work of building the course for you, and then you can edit it and decide, yes, I want that, no, I don't. So we'll give you the product and you have total control of it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yes.
Oh, sorry, one more thing I forgot to say. Your resources can also be added, and you're the only one who sees them. So if you're like, I have an excellent lecture on this, or I want this learning experience, you can totally incorporate that in it too. And it doesn't go out to other faculty. It stays only on your site. So if you have certain things that you prefer to use, it's easily accommodated.
Thank
You
you.
don't have to only use Lecturio.
Yeah, thank you very much, because we also have excellent faculty in our roster, and we want to keep also their lectures online for our personality. You know, our students are looking for, where is professor like this and my professor? So they like to see the faces of their professors. Thank you for informing us with that. And then I think it has been a very engaging and informative session, Dr. Rhonda. But I'd like to highlight you are into academic resilience. I'm into organizational resilience. That's my present baby today's day. Yeah. I'm organizational resilience, because all of our higher education institutions, you know, that we are adopted due to the pandemic. So I had a study. I'll be presenting next month also with ePhones. But it's nice to say that there is an academic resilience, so we can probably tie it up on that. And probably can you all again remind us of the item analysis session wherein everybody can participate? There is an email address. I think everybody's interested in this.
Oh, really? Oh, I would love to. Yes, I would love to. That would be really fun.
So we will be announcing that later to everybody and give them the email address. And then you also mentioned about the Nursing Student Association, the series April 6, 7, 8, and 9. That will be free online, right?
I will check with that.
Okay.
I am not sure. I think you have to register for the conference.
Okay. Yes. Okay. We really want that also for our students.
Yeah. But I would come, and if there's a school that you want me to do that for your students, I would do that for you.
Yes. Okay. So attention, all genes. They are listening.
That would be free. Yes. If we're doing it, that's no problem. It's really fun to do that series. We've done one on dosage calc. We've done one on study strategies. We just did one on student responsibility. So yeah, would love to.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Rhonda. This is Luisa Uayan from the Our Lady of Fatima. Back to you, Bryce.
Thank you so much. Wonderful, empowered nurse educators. Thank you so much for that wonderful collab, conversation, and the Q&A. All right. I would be asking a very important question to all our participants in the room and those who are watching us at Facebook right now. This is the final poll that I'd like all of you to please participate. It is a question on whether you wish to see the full demo of the Lecturio Nursing app. Your questions can come in as yes within a week, yes within 2 weeks, next 2 weeks, or yes within a month. Why all yeses? Because I'm one person who never takes no for an answer. All right? And yes is the opportunity we all need to grab right now. So thank you so much for saying yes within a week, or yes within the next 2 weeks, or yes within a month. All right. So far, most of you are saying yes within next week. I think that's really what we need right now. We need people who jump in and say yes as soon as possible. All right, the demo will be free. We'll be scheduling. My partner Nikhil and I will definitely be working with you, and we'll be reaching out to you through text messages and through your email. I noticed personally that most of our deans right now, given the workload, are more mobile, more on their text messages rather than their email. So that's okay. Nikhil, you're raising your hand. You want to say something?
Yeah, just to add, Bryce, I also want to offer the free trial for nursing,
Right.
Lecturio Nursing, to all the faculties and deans that are today on the webinar. We will be sending you the link to register for the free trial.
Oh, wow.
That you will be able to access, on your own, so that you can see the content.
How long will this free trial be, Nikhil?
I have to check with Lecturio. Normally it is for 1 day, but I will try to see if we can do it for a week.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate learning from one of the best nurse educators in the world, and from my reading, I saw that she's well praised. Dr. Rhonda Lawes. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for reminding us of the fix and the growth mindset. I think that's my personal takeaway right now. If only we can tell all our students, not only the nursing students, but all students in the world, that, hey, there's a growth mindset we all need to subscribe to, because that's the way to change the world. It will be a beautiful world after that. So thank you so much. And of course, to my very good friend and very, very inspiring Dr. Luisa Uayan, thank you so much for making this episode 8 such substantial, engaging, and fun. Thank you for taking the lead to converse with Dr. Rhonda. We've learned a lot from that conversation as well. And thank you for helping Lecturio and believing in what they do for all of us. So, ladies and gentlemen, dear deans, educators, friends in the nursing education, I know that we're reimagining things. Not because we just don't like the old ways, but, we just have to move forward and work forward and just embrace the beauty of the newest and the newness of things, and that is the beauty of life. So no more looking back and saying, I wish the good old days are back. We are here to say, bring it on, new normal, bring it on, new future. So thank you. Happy lunch in the Philippines. Rhonda, I know that you need your beauty sleep. We'll let you go right now. Once again, we would be very, very happy to invite you for the next episode next Friday. This time, we'll be launching the AR, augmented reality, and the virtual reality together with a world-renowned industry partner, Creative Labs. All right? So we'll be inviting our hero community for our next episode this March 26th with no other than the product head of Creative Labs International, Dave Dolan, all the way from the United Kingdom. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, give yourselves a hug and make sure you spend time with your family, because family is everything. Happy weekend, everyone!